Muy bienvenidos, soy Elina Villafañe y esto es Al Descubierto. Ahora, uno de nuestros reporteros subió un avión para obtener una vista aérea del convoy de camioneros en su camino hacia Columbus. Ahora, viendo desde el cielo, comprendemos por qué exactamente ha sido tan difícil medir el tamaño del convoy. Porque a medida que los semirremolques, las camionetas, los remolques, también los coches y las furgonetas se abren paso, bueno, es un poco difícil determinar quién está en el convoy y quién solo pasa por allí. Por supuesto, hay banderas y carteles que son llamativos y que también lo hacen evidente, pero como usted puede ver en esta grabación, es un poco difícil de determinar. Entonces, como para sumar, bueno, aquí hay algunas imágenes de drones de los camiones cuando están un poco más agrupados. Ahora, si usted no ha escuchado hablar del convoy, no se preocupe porque eso no es nada sorprendente, dado el hecho de que hubo un apagón mediático casi total sobre este tema. Pero bueno, esencialmente lo que ocurrió fue que el mes pasado, después de que los camioneros canadienses condujeron hasta Ottawa para protestar contra las órdenes de vacunación del gobierno canadiense, bueno, inspiró a un movimiento similar en Estados Unidos. Pues hace 2 semanas se formaron varias caravanas en todo Estados Unidos y comenzaron a hacer lentamente su camino a Washington, D.C. Y de hecho tuvimos la oportunidad de entrevistar a Michael Young, un fotógrafo de guerra condecorado que estuvo en el convoy desde el primer día. Escuchemos lo que nos dijo.
I've been following the truckers I flew from Florida out to California to get with the truckers near Barstow, California at Adelanto, and this is day 11, right? So we started off in Adelanto, went through Arizona, New Mexico. No law enforcement hindered our way. In fact, they were very supportive and waving at us and turning lights on, flashing lights, that sort of thing. They closed down the vehicle inspection stations in Arizona and New Mexico, let us just keep right on rolling. And so as you can see, the truckers' morale is quite high. And we must have crossed at least 100,000 people on the sides of the road between California and here. Today is not as many. I think it's because it's early in the week, and also it's very cold. But other places it's been huge numbers, bridges completely full. Even in Albuquerque, New Mexico, which is said to be a blue city, there was huge numbers of people there.
Y bueno, como mencionó, después de conducir cientos o en algunos casos también miles de millas, hace solo 2 días, 5 o 6 caravanas diferentes convergieron en Indiana, que está justo en las afueras de Indianápolis. Y fue allí donde celebraron un rally de alrededor de 3,000 personas. De hecho, se presentó tanta gente que el organizador fue informado de que la ciudad tuvo que cerrar una salida de la autopista solo por el gran número de vehículos que pasaron por ahí. Solo en lo que respecta a los semirremolques, habían más de 100. Y durante la manifestación cantaron el himno nacional. Los oradores subieron y hablaron de por qué están viajando, lo que esto significa para ellos, así como también lo que están tratando de lograr. Ahora cabe destacar que los presentes tampoco eran todos camioneros. De hecho, entre los oradores habían médicos, un piloto de avión, varios veteranos, un abogado. Habló también el fiscal general de Indiana y, por supuesto, estaban los propios camioneros. Y luego de los discursos, uno de nuestros reporteros tuvo la oportunidad de hablar con la gente, con las personas que estaban allí, y les preguntó qué los impulsó a participar, con qué propósito, así como también qué creen, hacia dónde creen que se dirige el país. Bueno, aquí está alguna de sus respuestas. Ahora, tengan en cuenta que solo son clips que imagino pueden ser aprobados por YouTube.
What is the best case scenario? What do you think the best case for the convoy would be? What do they achieve?
That we maintain our free republic. You know, enough is enough. We've got to stop this. It's got to end.
If we continue down the road we're on, what do you think is going to happen for the world our grandkids inherit?
That we'll have communism. They'll be eating their shoes to stay alive. We can't have it. We don't deserve it.
Last question. What do you think of the mainstream media coverage of the convoy?
We'll have to wait and see.
Is it a girl, actually? Yeah. Oh, oops. I should have known by the flower in the head.
I'm here actually from Wisconsin, and I'm here for my kids and for every other school-age kid that's in America right now, because if we don't fight for their rights now, they're going to be gone. I actually just went to the school board in our county 2 days ago. I was the only one that talked about having the kids have masks optional, and everybody on the board, all 13 members, used my testimony. I'm here. It took 2 years of me fighting the school board for my kids to finally go to school without a mask on. I'm done. I'm over it. This needs to knock it off. I'm a Navy vet. Shout out to all our veterans serving now and past. But this needs to end now. This is America. This is not, Russia. You know what I mean? We're not a socialist country. We are a free nation, and that's what this is all about. Being free against anybody else telling me that it's better that my kids or me get the vaccine, which is not.
Listen, I'm just very proud to be part of this. This is peaceful people who want to keep their republic, just like Benjamin Franklin asked us all those years ago. And I tried to inspire tonight, but they gave me more motivation and more inspiration to do my day job as Attorney General than I think I've ever given to them. So I'm just pleased to be a part of it.
Entonces, ayer a eso de las 9 de la mañana, los camioneros volvieron a la carretera dirigiéndose hacia el este, hacia su próxima parada, que es Cambridge, Ohio. Y fue mientras viajaban entre las ciudades de Dayton y Columbus que pudimos sobrevolar y ver a los camioneros desde el cielo. Ahora, este nuevo convoy más grande de camioneros que, alguien durante el rally mencionó que se extiende a través de 25 a 30 millas, es decir, más de 40 kilómetros, y que va a continuar por Pensilvania, sobre Maryland, y luego hará su camino a la circunvalación de Washington, D.C. Ahora, también vale la pena señalar que todavía hay otras caravanas independientes que vienen por separado, como por ejemplo el convoy de Nueva Inglaterra, que salió a la carretera hace un par de días, dejando el estado de Maine en su camino a Washington, D.C. Ahora, una vez que lleguen a la circunvalación, que probablemente será mañana sábado, tendremos que ver cómo reacciona la ciudad. Y como ya mencioné en otro episodio anterior, hace unos días que D.C. está en alerta máxima con barricadas y tropas de la Guardia Nacional dispersas por toda la ciudad. Sin embargo, los propios organizadores dicen que estas medidas no son necesarias porque, a diferencia del convoy canadiense, el convoy del pueblo no pretende interrumpir ni las carreteras ni los puentes. En su lugar, el señor Brian Bass, que es uno de los principales organizadores del convoy del pueblo, se esforzó por decir a los medios de comunicación que este viaje será, y cito, un viaje 100% seguro, legal y pacífico que terminará en las proximidades de la zona de D.C., pero no entrará en D.C. propiamente dicho. Mucha gente preguntó por qué estamos haciendo esto. ¿Cuál es su razón? La gente quiere una respuesta definida y clara. Creen que es una cosa. La verdad es que se trata de mis hijos, se trata de mis futuros nietos, se trata de nuestras familias, se trata de nuestro país, se trata de que nuestro gobierno sepa que trabaja para nosotros. Entonces vamos a ver cómo se desarrolla esta caravana. Ahora continuamos informando sobre el viaje que están haciendo cientos, o mejor dicho, miles de personas hacia Washington, D.C. apoyando el convoy del pueblo. Ahora, en esta oportunidad también hablamos con varios legisladores la semana pasada y les preguntamos qué piensan del convoy y qué les dirían directamente a estas personas que emprendieron este viaje. Y esto es lo que nos dijeron.
Look, the American people are so fed up with the double standard they see from government, the attacks on our First Amendment liberties. I mean, you think about every right we enjoy. I say this probably every speech I give now. Every right we enjoy under the First Amendment. We have 5. Right to practice your faith, right to assemble, right to petition, freedom of press, freedom of speech. Every one of them has been attacked over the last year. I mean, you think there's still a few places in the country where a full congregation can't meet on Sunday morning. I mean, that's in America. That's not supposed to happen. I always use the example. A year ago, I spoke to the New Mexico Republican Party in Amarillo, Texas, because they had to go to Texas to get freedom because their Democrat governor wouldn't let them get together, wouldn't let them assemble in their own darn state. So you just go on. Jen Psaki stood at the podium in the press room in the West Wing of the White House. The White House is considered the center of freedom on the planet. And Jen Psaki said these 2 statements. She says, most Americans now get their news from social media platforms. We, the Biden administration, are working with these platforms to limit information that Americans can see. So disinformation, misinformation stuff. I mean, what? You're the press person from the press room saying you're trying to limit the press. That is frightening. So, and we know what's happened to speech. I mean, you know what we've seen the cancel culture mob and the attack on speech. And I tell everyone, if you can't talk, none of your rights mean anything. Because can you really practice your faith? Can you share your faith if you're not allowed to speak? So this is scary what is happening, and people have had it. They're like, we're tired of the government telling us you can't go to work, you can't go to church, you can't go to school, but the people who make those rules violate them all the time, the double standard. So I mean, I understand the frustration. God bless these truckers who are standing up for freedom. I get why Americans have had it, because I've had it. I mean, it's just wrong to see the very people who put these rules in place who won't follow them, but they're going to continue to, for us common folk, you know, that they look down on. They're going to continue to limit our freedoms. It's wrong, and Americans are going to stand up.
Listen, we are a country that's based upon the right of the people. Don't be violent. Don't commit criminal activity. But you have a right to peacefully assemble. You have a right to make your voices known. And the truth is, the American people are sick and tired of these vaccine mandates, of mask mandates, of government intruding into every area of our lives where they have no business being. Not that anyone, myself or anyone else, is opposed to vaccines, but I'm opposed to vaccine mandates. I'm not opposed to masks, but I'm opposed to mask mandates. I'm opposed to the government telling everybody what they must do in order to continue living their lives in a free society and going to their workplace or whatever it may be. And the American people are sick and tired of that. And the truckers have the right to voice their opposition to these type of egregious policies that are impacting their lives, their businesses, and so forth. And so, I would just encourage them to proceed. Just don't be out of hand. Don't do anything foolish. Don't break the law, but let their voices be known, and I believe the American public will stand with them.
I think I'm calling on people to peacefully protest. They're going to try and miscategorize us. Don't be surprised if you see some kind of psyop where the intelligence community are trying to make these people look like they're violent extremists, or there's some kind of Nazi or some kind of white supremacist. I'm guessing these are just good, hardworking Americans who are going to be the mainstream media is going to try and paint as these radical extremists. But remember, just like nurses were heroes last year, just like truckers were heroes last year, they're now the villains because they're refusing to get vaccinated. They're now the villains because the enemy has said, oh, well, you're an undesirable. And so these people don't care about the working class. They only care about holding on to power. And it's time for really, I believe, a populist movement to rise up and take our country back.
The truckers, I admire what they're doing. Look at what the message they're sending to a tyrant like Justin Trudeau in Canada. Americans are feeling the same way about this administration. He's been missing in action, and the things he has done has been off base for what freedom represents. And so I'm glad they're doing it. It's just a sign of the times that people are getting involved. Everybody feels like we're losing our country, and they know now as we the people to get involved.
Stay in there, hang in there. I love the fact that they're fighting for the government to stay out of our business and not be able to take our personal freedoms away from us. I know that when they get there, in D.C., it'll be a big inconvenience for a lot of people that live there and stuff. But I think the bigger picture here is they're fighting for all of our rights. They're fighting for our personal freedoms that have been taken away. We saw what happened in Canada. It's not a stretch to think that could happen right here in the United States now. As far as we've gone, I tell people all the time, if you showed me where we were in the United States right now, where Biden has led us, and you compared that to a few years ago when Trump was in office, I would have told you that the kind of stuff that happens in this country that would never happen in this country. And I would tell you that if it did happen, it would take decades to take place. Joe Biden has done it in 1 year. In 1 year, he has completely changed this country for the worst, and he's taken away our personal freedoms. And we just got to get them back no matter what. At some point, we have to put our foot down and say enough is enough, and that's what the truckers are doing to some extent.
I'm saying they're doing what they need to do. We're talking about freedoms and liberties that are being actually, they're in jeopardy. And these folks and these trucks, I got a good friend who is a trucker. He may be part of that convoy. They need to be able to have their voices heard. And by doing this, going to D.C. and their convoy, they're going to make their voices heard. And we're going to make sure that they have the freedom that they need and they exercise liberty.
Si quiere informarse más sobre todo lo que hablamos hoy, puede hacerlo desde los enlaces que están abajo en la descripción de este video. Ahora, si no lo hizo todavía, ponga me gusta a nuestro video porque de esta forma lo que hace es forzar a que el algoritmo de YouTube comparta toda nuestra información con miles de personas más y que la verdad llegue mucho más lejos. Muchas gracias por acompañarnos. Nos vemos pronto.